What do you think insurance agents struggle with the most? Like, what advice would you give to an aspiring insurance entrepreneur that's doing well, but they're trying to find that next level?
I think insurance agents and all humans struggle with the second and third part of prey drive, which is the persistence of that drive and the intensity of that drive. I also think they struggle to expand. See, what activates the prey drive is exposure to somebody doing big things, right? Like I'm in Miami, it's expansive. There's water and buildings and movement and energy. And what that does is it makes me, boom, A, it makes me want to have a place in Miami. But B, it makes me want to expand.
Hey, welcome back to the Power Players Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins, hanging out live today with my good buddy, Mr. Coach Micheal Burt. Coach Burt, how are you, sir?
It's good to see you, man. I missed you.
I know, man. I miss you as well. Out there
traveling, and you guys sent my my newest daughter a great cool little blanket. Thank you for that, Emmeline Rose. That was a super sweet gift. So I'm doing great, man. I'm in Miami, Florida. They tell me it's really cold everywhere else in the country. It's 80 degrees, and I'm looking at panoramic views of the water. So I always wanted a place in Miami, Cody. Yeah. I think I got to sell my wife on this, but yeah, I'm in Miami. I'm promoting the book, Flip the Switch. Today is launch day. It comes out, Tuesday the 31st today. And so I've been doing all kinds of clubhouses and interviews, and it's been a lot of fun, man.
I love it, buddy. Well, I appreciate you coming on to talk about the book. I know the book is something that's been a labor of love for the last, year or more. You've been putting a lot of work into this thing, and I really believe it can help agents and teams with how to activate prey drive and really flip the switch in their organization. Yep. What was the purpose of writing the book?
I think around 41, 42 years old, I had this big revelation. A guy used the concept of prey drive, PREYDRIVE, and I was at a workshop learning, and I just had this big revelation, man, that this is a new way to talk about an old thing. It's a new way to talk about motivation, right? And there's a lot of motivational books out there. What this book is actually teaching a person to do is how to call upon their drive when they need it to peak up, when they need to fight through their feelings, when they don't feel like doing something, when, I'm talking like the freakish level, like when you see artists, athletes, entertainers, speakers, when they really just get to a real high level, it's because they know how to activate a deep drive inside of them. And I use that word activate very intentionally. There's a difference between motivation, inspiration, and what I'm saying, activation. So that's what prompted me to write the book. And then I really fell in love with the concept of how do you activate a drive inside of a person that has potential but not doing it, or open their mind to bigger possibility. And as I've been reading the book, I'm just learning so many things. Like one of the definitions of passion means to suffer. And I never caught that the first time. I don't know why, but when I was researching the book and I wrote in the book and I forgot I'd even written it. But yeah, one definition of passion is to suffer. And we suffer through things short term so that we can have things long term. So that's really why I wrote the book. And it's kind of become my calling card. Like 8% is, became what you're known for. Prey drive has become what I've been known for. And so I think I'm stepping into what I'm really supposed to be doing.
I love it. Well, we're also going to put the link below in the description right now. If you're watching this and you're like, man, I want to support Coach. I want to read his book. I want to be a part of this experience. Go grab Flip the Switch, which we will have a link below for you to take advantage and do that. Coach, a lot of insurance agents struggle with drive and discipline and waking up and staying motivated. There's glimpses of just this impressive person that's living there, but there's just glimpses. How do they maintain, and can they keep the switch on?
Yeah, it's interesting. When I did an event a few weeks ago, I had Tim Grover with me, who came in for a little bit, and we were just, I kind of let the audience have a treat. They didn't know he was coming. And he talked about the greats, their prey drive was always on, but it like a dimmer switch, they could turn it up or turn it down. And but the average person out there in the world struggles to have this on for long cycles of time. And this is why there's 3 phases of the drive. There's activation, and it's got to be activated every single day. Okay, every day. And I go into that in the book. This is how I activate my prey drive when I don't feel like it. This is how I flip the switch. This is how I go from not feeling like it to boom, I'm on. Okay, then there's got to be a persistence to the drive, which is kind of a long obedience in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
You just keep getting better. You got to be interested in mastery for this. You got to really have a big B goal, and you got to be willing to embrace the suck. And then the C is there got to be a intensity to it, which is what a lot of people lack. Now, the reason it struggles in insurance agents because it's not sexy, it's not always fun. Picking up the phone and calling leads that they purchased, trying to sell the same thing over and over and over. So they gotta make it into a game. See the greats, Cody, see business as sport.
Yep.
It's a game. It's a competition. It's testing me. Okay. And I've been doing this for 31 years. So I'm just like the insurance agent that says, man, I've been doing this my whole life. Okay. I've been coaching people for a long time. So to me, it's got to become a game. So I always need a new game to play. Number one, I need a competition. And sometimes I'm in competition just like you are. So you're a competitive dude. And I bet you pick competitions with people that don't even know you're in competition with them.
Yeah.
So what I do is I'll pick a person and I'll go, you know what? I'm in competition with that person. They don't even know it. And what I mean is, whatever, how many books we can sell, how big we can get, how many people we can help. They don't even know it, man.
It's good.
So you need a new game to play. You need a new competition. You need a new trophy to win, even if it's in your mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You need a target. You need a target. You need a target and a timeline. And the book goes into why you need targets and why you need timelines.
Yes. I love that you mentioned that too, because you think about like Jordan with The Last Dance. He was George Carl didn't speak to him in a restaurant, right? Boom. Prey drive's activated.
Boom.
There was another example where he said that somebody says it to him on the court. He tells everybody this person said this to him, and then later find out they didn't even say it. He just made it up. Which is just, it was like some rookie or something, which is hilarious. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And just staying in a driven, like positive state where you are continuing to push. Because I mean, a lot of people are, it's not typically a lack of skill, it seems to be a lack of will in a lot of examples. From coaching, I mean, now probably hundreds of thousands of business owners around the world over the last few decades. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's not skill. I think it's just this prey drive to pursue. You got to think, nobody likes to call themselves complacent, but the truth is a lot of times in life, we end up complacent, which is kind of a settling to a place of mediocrity. And you say, well, why would we do that? Well, if you study the brain, it's lazy. It goes to the path of least resistance. It doesn't know what to do unless you tell it to. So this is why you see me change my environments a lot. I go work from Florida, I work from Nashville, I travel, and what that actually does is reactivate my prey drive. So once I set a big goal to make this a Wall Street Journal bestseller, and only time will tell this week. We've moved thousands and thousands of units of this book, more copies than I've ever sold of any of the first 16 books that I've written have already been sold in the pre-sale.
What's the target?
Well, the target to get to the top of the Wall Street Journal is 10,000 units in a week. And you get in the game somewhere around 3,000 or 4,000, but there's no guarantees, right? There's absolutely no guarantees. So you set a target. There's a lot of reasons for that, right? You got to move X number of individual units. Bulk units matter. It all matters. But at the end of the day, you got to get to a certain number of units to hit the Wall Street Journal bestseller list. And there's no guarantees that you'll still hit it. So, but here's the deal. It gave me a game to play. It gave me a target to push toward. It gave me a reason to get up in the morning and talk about it. It gave me a reason to do speaking engagements. It gave me a reason to get in front of people. So to me, once that game's over, okay, I've already thinking about what's the next book going to be, right? What's the next book going to be? What's the next thing? So you'll see me create things like a greatness factory I'm building in downtown Nashville, success schools for kids. This book, what I'm doing, for those of you that know me, is I'm creating a new game to play, because that actually reactivates my prey drive. Okay, and I need that at 46 years old. I need to be reactivated constantly to play at a very high level.
Yes, For those that are like, okay, I'm gonna grab the book. I'm actually gonna hit the link and grab it today and be a part of this experience. What can they expect to learn? So what do you think some of the key takeaways will be for them? And it'll be different for every person, but
yeah, the one thing I'm doing for everybody that buys the book, especially in the beginning here, as the book is being released, is I'm doing an 8-week book club. And I'm calling that Not Your Mama's Book Club. Okay, Not Your Mama's Book Club. And what I'm doing is, of all the books I've ever read, Cody, I'd never remember an author saying, "Hey, you buy the book, I'm gonna spend 8 weeks with you, breaking the book down." So we'll probably have thousands of people on that. So for every person that buys the book, they get 8 weeks with me in the book club, where literally every week I coach them for 8 weeks. It's completely free to them when they buy the book. They buy the book, and then they go to, email us at support@coachburt.com, take a picture, and we get you into that. You get 8 weeks with me of me breaking the book down. Now, what they're going to learn is the real science, if you will, of activating the drive. They're going to learn how to go from A to B. They're going to learn why they become complacent. They're going to learn how to think bigger. They're going to learn what the difference between pretenders and contenders. They're going to learn the habits of the top 1%. Like, those are all chapters in the book. Chapter 3, my favorite chapter, is called Screw Your Why. And it is about purpose. It's going to show you actually how I think your purpose finds you versus you find it. And that's going to be a popular chapter, which could end up being a book in itself. See, I already got my mind going. That chapter could be its entire book, right? That one thing. So that's what they're going to learn when they do it. The book will activate their prey drive. The book will make them think bigger. The book will challenge them. And there's work things at the end of each chapter where they're literally working through A to B, which is my favorite exercise.
Yes. And you've been around the insurance world for years. Recently, over the last 12, 18 months, whatever it is, you've actually gotten more involved in the insurance space.
Yep.
For those that are new to the industry, or they're giving the industry a look, what is it about insurance that has really gotten your attention, and why you've also joined and entered the industry yourself?
The vehicle. See, I didn't think about this when I started my coaching business at 31. Nobody set me down, Cody, and said, "Hey, look at the vehicle. Does it have residual income? Is it a sellable asset? Can you scale it? Do you have leverage in it?" See, nobody sat down and told me those things when I started my coaching business. So I went down the road of the coaching business, built a multi-million-dollar coaching company. And then I'm like, the vehicle's hard. It's a hard vehicle. A lot of dependency on one or two people. Even when you scale it, it's difficult to scale. And I started looking at industries that I could still coach, but also scale. And so I started an insurance agency, attracted some good people. They're building people underneath them. They get access to my coaching. One of them is a college softball coach. That's probably one of my best people right now, right? I mean, it goes back to the old days of A.L. Williams building Primerica, and he was a football coach.
Yeah.
And he was fiery, and I thought, man, if that dude can do it, I can do it, And so I think that's why I got into it. The vehicle, I think everybody needs insurance, man. I think 70% of people or more are underinsured when it comes to life insurance. I think, so I look at big problems in the world, and I go, how can I use my talent to help people? And then I look at people who are looking for opportunity, man. Some people, you'd be shocked at how many people are working 2 jobs in America today just to make it go. And so my side hustle of being a speaker when I was a basketball coach became my main hustle when I got there and started doing it. But it started as a side hustle. I was coaching and I was doing it on the side, man. And then it got bigger, and I'm like, I could do this, man. I could do this. If I just went for it, I could do it. And that's why I got into the insurance business. And guys like you and your wife, me coming to your conferences, a lot of good people. A lot of people are hungry to learn. I do think insurance gives people a vehicle to go out there and build a good life for themselves. And for the serious ones, they can go out there, and you got to think, I started coaching whole life insurance people, Cody, almost my first 2 or 3 years. And these were people that were making a lot of money. These were people making $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. That's where I started. And Ohio National was a company that took me out on tour for them. And I spoke to all their people. And these were, people who were selling whole life, making a bunch of money right out of the gates. And I'm thinking, okay, this is a new way to use insurance. Never seen that before. So I've been exposed to pretty much every kind of insurance you can believe. Call centers,
Yeah.
Final expense, life, PNC. I coached a bunch of State Farm
Medicare.
people, Medicare. So, I mean, I've kind of been in all of it, and people are just out there trying to make it, man. And sometimes they need some help from a coach like me.
Yes, for sure. Last question. What if someone's listening, they're like, okay, what do you think insurance agents struggle with the most? Like, what advice would you give to an aspiring insurance entrepreneur that's doing well, but they're trying to find that next level? What advice would you give?
I think insurance agents and all humans struggle with the second and third part of prey drive, which is the persistence of that drive and the intensity of that drive. I also think they struggle to expand. See, what activates the prey drive is exposure to somebody doing big things, right? Like I'm in Miami, it's expansive. There's water and buildings and movement and energy. And what that does is it makes me, boom, A, it makes me want to have a place in Miami. But B, it makes me want to expand, right? I grew up in a small town. You live in Springfield. I've never been to Springfield, Missouri, by the way. But here's my point. When you get out in the world and you see all the possibility that is available to us, and you start going, man, there's no shortage of anything. There's a shortage of courage. There's a shortage of activity. There's a shortage of confidence, but there is no shortage of possibility because it is literally everywhere. And I think agents sometimes get their head down and they're doing good, but there's a whole nother world. So I would classify them as highly talented, but possibly undercapitalized. And right, banks have all these acronyms, ultra high net worth individuals. Well, I've got a category. It's ultra talented yet undercapitalized. People who have talent, but they don't know how to activate their potential, and they need somebody to walk into their life and expand. Give them expansive thoughts. Sales is an expansion activity. Activating your drive every day is expansion. Being on these podcasts with you. I mean, I remember you when there was no 8%. I remember the first 8%, right? And I remember, I remember you renting the stadium, which I thought was crazy, but it was remarkably bold, which is why I really liked you right out of the gate. I'm like, man, this dude's remarkably bold. I don't know this young guy, but he's bold. Yeah. He's remarkably bold, and I like that. I'm attracted to that. So I remember you and I being in the car going to Vero Beach and coaching insurance people, or doing cruises together, or couples retreats, or all the stuff that we've done together, conferences together. But if you look back over our career together, you and I have both been expanding the whole time.
Yes.
There has been no contractions. There has been no freezing. There has been no operating out of fear. It has literally been expansion over the last 6, 7, 8 years. And I think you got to lock on to people who you expand with, and I think one of the things you're great at is collaboration. Although you have a competitive nature, you literally collaborate with everybody, and you don't get caught up in scarcity. You don't get caught up in who's doing what. Just like me, man, I could care less. I don't go to insurance conferences to recruit people. I don't have a scarcity bone in my body like that. And that's what I really align with you, because you do things for the betterment of the industry.
Yes.
And I think that's why you've prospered so much, is you've been open to collaboration versus competition. And I think that is prey drive. That is expansion. Because I guarantee you go to these things and your prey drive is reactivated, and it's reactivated, and it's reactivated, and it's reactivated. And that's why people need to do that, because environment and exposure to activators of prey drive.
Yes. Phenomenal answer. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for saying that, and for being on, hanging out today for the launch of your new book, Flip the Switch.
Yep.
Coach, appreciate your time. Appreciate you hanging out.
That's a big one too, right? Hey, listen, this ain't your mama's book club book, folks. This is a big boy right here.
Wow.
This 2 years.
How many words? How many pages? Like, that's big.
And 276 pages. The biggest book I've ever written. Yeah, somewhere around 276, 250, something like that. Biggest book I've ever written, most extensive book I've ever written. And people are already getting these in the mail, by the way. And one guy reached out to me and he said, man, I read every one of your books, all of them. And he said, this one, those don't even come close to touching the depth of this. And you know why? I was going to say this at the beginning of your show. I've dabbled with some of my books, like, halfway in, halfway wrote it, halfway did it. Not this book, man. This is 2 years, multiple editors, back and forth, going as deep as you can. Robert Greene, when he writes a book, spends 5 years writing the book. Mastery, 48 Laws of Power, Human Nature. But when you get these things, you could tell dude had a stroke because it almost killed him writing one of them. And it's because he goes so deep into a concept that he is a master. And that's really what I did with this book, man. I've gone so deep into the concept. It's so far ahead of my other books that it ain't even close, man. It really ain't even close because I put the work in on this one.
Yes, you did. I love it. Well, congrats on the launch. Congrats on your most successful book ever. Congrats on a beast of a book, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's also always fun to hang out with you. And I appreciate you being on the podcast and promoting the new book. Yep. Appreciate your time. You guys go grab the book. Go click the link below. Go grab the book, Flip the Switch, to be in an 8-week Not Your Mama's Book Club with Coach Micheal Burt as well.
Yep.
Take advantage of that. And Coach, thank you for being on the podcast.
All right. Thank you. Great interview.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thanks for being on the podcast. Thanks for listening again. Go grab the book, Flip the Switch by Coach Micheal Burt, and we'll see you on the next episode. Adios. Hey, if you enjoyed this, I got another one you're going to love. It's right there. Click on it. See you in there.
Yeah, if you take 25 leads, make 20 contacts per week, whether they say no or yes, then several agents writing over $200,000 of annual premium, netting over $100,000 a year.
Which is amazing. And you